We are here today for the trial of defendant Esteban Patino for his crimes of first-degree murder against Connor Collins, age 17.
We will now hear the testimonies of Esteban Patino. Please rise for oath.
Swear by the Almighty God that the evidence you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
You may all be seated.
I was at Connor's house hanging out with him. After a while of being with him, we got into an argument that got very serious very fast. And I tried to back up from him so nothing would happen, but he kept coming at me. So I pushed him back, and he tripped on something and ended up hitting his head on the windowsill, and that caused his death. I didn't kill him.
Mr. Patino has made are false. Evidence was found on the victim's body proving it to not have been an accident. This incident was not a homicide, but in fact first-degree murder. Bruises and bloody wounds were found on the victim's neck, suggesting a scuffle occurred. There are also noticeable scratches on Mr. Patino's arms from the victim's attempt to get away.
There is no proof that those marks were made by Esteban. Hypothetically, if these claims made by the prosecution were true, there is sufficient evidence that both boys' hormones and energy was high in the event of the alleged. Additionally, both boys are just that, boys. Mr. Patino cannot be held accountable for the crime that happened in the circumstances. The crime was an accident. We plead not guilty to the crimes of first-degree murder, but we are willing to agree to the sentence of unintentional homicide.
Your Honor, there is in fact proof of first-degree murder. We would like to call to the stand Connor's little sister, Ariana Collins.
You swear by the Almighty God that the evidence you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. I never saw this coming. Esteban has been our friend and neighbor for years. I can't tell you what brought it on this sudden rage and malice towards my brother, but I can tell you what I saw. I was in the room next door to Connor's room when I heard him yelling. He sounded confused and hurt. I'm sorry. And I took out my headphones and walked to his room and seen what was happening. I peered through the door and saw Esteban with his hands around my brother's neck. I watched in silent horror as Connor tried to free himself by clawing at Esteban's arms. I'm so sorry. I watched him do something, but I was frozen in fear. I gasped as I watched Esteban toss my brother towards the ground. I wanted to do something, but I was frozen in fear. I gasped as I watched Esteban toss my brother towards the ground just as he started to lose consciousness. He hit his head on the windowsill a little too hard. I couldn't do anything but cry. I was afraid Esteban would hear me, and so I just ran back to my room and called 911. After such a thing, our family loved him like a son. I saw him as another brother, but he just betrayed us all.
Plead not guilty.
What the witness fails to mention is that Esteban was constantly put down and bullied by Connor. Connor hated Esteban. He only kept him as a friend to uplift his own ego. Connor was football captain, prom king, class president, and a valiant Victorian with a great family. Connor constantly harassed Esteban and his own life, which was nothing to compare to Connor's. Esteban is too young to fully comprehend what he was doing at the time.
Your Honor, it is completely misguided to claim that these crimes were committed out of ignorance and immaturity. There are millions of other teens with hormones on the same maturity level that do not kill their best friends. Esteban's actions were clear and thought out and obviously enacted by jealousy. This was no accident, Your Honor. His crimes show malice and forethought.
By the state of Florida, I sentence Mr. Esteban Patino to life in prison for the heinous crimes of first-degree murder of Connor Collins today on May 10th, 2018. Court dismissed.